look at the Big Ten East in particular, and when you look at it, you've got four top 12 teams in conference play. And so, look, you've got contenders and pretenders at this point, Joey, and I would agree. Again, take a look at the standings. According to the All-State Playoff Predictor, the Big Ten has an 18% chance of sending multiple teams to the playoff right now, an 83% chance of sending at least one. So I want to echo the fact that I think this is very good for college football, but it will have to get itself sorted out. Contending or pretending, let's start with Michigan, who I think has surprised a lot of folks at this point in the season. Joey?
Michigan seems to be a much improved football team. And I think it took last weekend's game against Wisconsin to really give them a little bit more respect because they hadn't played anybody up until then. But the way they're doing things now offensively is what makes them better. They were a run between the tackles offense, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and maybe throw a pass down the field, getting two guys out with a max protection. And in this season, in the first quarter, you've seen a flea flicker called early for Michigan. It went, big play for a touchdown. Their big play numbers this season blow away what they've done in past season. I think that's the difference in this team. They have the confidence and the ability to go downfield with the football, not just play run between the tackles. Michigan absolutely has a chance to get to the Big Ten championship game. They got some tough games going. David just mentioned the Big Ten East is pretty brutal right now. But any one of those teams, whether it's Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, those teams can win any of their games.
Well, I love your zeal for the Michigan passing game. I don't share it, but I mean they did make some plays. I would definitely think that's but how they're going to hang their hat and what they're going to be good at is they're going to be good at running the football, and that's what's been fun to watch. This looks like a Harbaugh team. Nasty up front, a lot of diversity in their run game. Corum going absolutely bananas with big plays. And McNamara in the passing game doing enough and creating plays like Joey talked about with the flea flicker. I don't know how good they are on that end, but I will flip it to the defense. Aiden Hutchinson is a bad mother, shut your mouth. And he is going to destroy offenses. Their pass rush is legit, consistently getting pressure on the quarterback for Michigan. So I do believe Michigan's got staying power, and everybody in the division are going to be taking note.
Look, I'll put my love for the flea flicker aside for just a minute, but I do love it. You talk about the calling card being that running game. Joey, when you look at Penn State, what has to be their calling card to make some noise in this thing?
I think it is very similar to what Michigan has to do. And David, I agree with you. Their calling card is the run game, but they have to be able to go down the field at times. And Sean Clifford for Penn State has been different this season. Last season, he had a bunch of turnovers, led the Big Ten in throwing interceptions, and that became their undoing. This season, he's doing a much better job of taking care of the football. And Sean Clifford is about as good as anyone in the country of making plays outside of the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, finding guys open. And so if he can continue to do that, and their defense continues to play well, then Penn State is another team that will have a chance to win the Big Ten. Can't wait for this weekend when Penn State, Iowa go head-to-head, because that'll tell us a lot about this conference.
Yeah, in Penn State, Sean Clifford learning to be patient, check the football down more. Obviously, it's been Jahan Dotson having a guy like that can beat everybody is good. Penn State's defense has been really impressive thus far. Wisconsin, I thought they actually struggled, but they showed up when it mattered. They showed up in the red zone and created turnovers. And here's the thing, Porter Jr., number 9, you don't want that smoke. You don't want to try him, whether it's coming up and tackling, which most corners don't like to do, or coverage. They play a ton of guys. They rotate a ton of guys through and through, but they all play with great effort and energy, and they got a great athleticism across the front. So I think Penn State, another team, if they keep developing offensively and Clifford keeps going higher and higher and getting better and more comfortable, and that passing game continues to evolve, because they got the weapons to do it, this is a team that could win the Big Ten along with Michigan, along with Ohio State, along with Iowa, like all these teams that are in the mix.
Right, that's just the thing. And I think Ohio State has too much experience, too much talent not to be in the mix somehow. So it's not that we're not talking about the Buckeyes. Let's put them in that group of contenders. But it seems like, Joey, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, that if there's a team that's on the outside looking in just a little bit, it sounds like you might think it's Michigan State. Is that correct?
Michigan State and what Mel Tucker has got them to do this season is far ahead of where they were last season. They're a much improved football team. I just don't know that they have enough firepower to beat an Ohio State and Penn State and Michigan and where they are. But Michigan State can absolutely beat any one of those teams, but it's going to take a perfect game out of Thorne at quarterback. They got to run it with Reed. They're a very good football team. I just don't know that they have enough weapons offensively, and then I don't know if their defense can hang with those other teams we talked about.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.